So fine, blow my mind. Ooh, so fine, blow my mind.
One of my favorite songs, that is Howard Johnson, So Fine. Whenever I hear this song, I think of my high school crush, Raina Combs. Girl was beautiful, built like a gazelle. I called that way back when, but she wouldn't give me a time of day because I was an underclassman, but that's how it is. You're listening to the Donovan Sadiq Show. I'm Donovan Sadiq. I'm going to be telling you some of the local things that are on my mind and what's happening in the local neighborhood of the Inland Empire. If you guys listened to the Hot Seat Radio Show on Wednesdays, which usually goes between 3:30 to 6:30, we were talking about local moron, Evan Moron. And this is a grown man who plays with dolls, records himself playing with the dolls, and simulates forcible rape. Now, this is a man that has, I believe, 2 daughters, or a daughter and a son himself, and these are younger children. And wow, it was a blockbuster. And I got a bunch of calls this week in regards to investigations and inquiries into where can they find the video, where can they see the sites, and all these other things like that. And this is from certain individuals who might want to know. But the PTA was notified, the school board itself was notified, local TV reporters were notified. It's just a really, really, really big thing that this guy, Evan Moron, who is backed by Highland Fairview, and Highland Fairview CEO and president, Ito Benvizi, he likes to back candidates with very suspicious backgrounds. When I say suspicious, either it's criminal or it's perverted or something in that realm. Because you remember Mike Rios was backed by Highland Fairview and Ito Benvizi, and Mike Rios was on the school board, and he is in jail right now for pimping and pandering 15-year-old schoolgirls. And he's in jail right now. And these are the kind of candidates that Mr. Benvizi supports. Another one is a Victoria Baca. We're looking at the 460s now that are coming out to close out the calendar year and the election cycle. And, once again, Mr. Benvizi uses his... he doesn't use Highland Fairview itself. He uses these outside sources to funnel money to his candidates because he doesn't want his name on it. Being a local developer, he doesn't want to, put his name on it. So he goes through these outside entities and he, forms these little corporations and calls it something else. But Victoria Baca, received I think it was like $80,000 or something like that from this Highland Fairview in San Rafael, under a different name, auspiciously a different name. And we're going to talk about Victoria Baca in a second, but let me finish with Evan Moron. Now, this guy is one of the biggest psychopaths I have ever ran across. If you go to his LinkedIn resume, which is on the web, unless he's pulled that too, because he's taken down his Twitter, which had racist comments and rants. And I believe he's taken down the video of himself street racing. This is a school board member doing a crime. And then he's still driving, I believe, under a suspended license. And this is a person that is making decisions for our teenagers and our children that are on or in the school district. Now, you're supposed to lead by example. What kind of example is that? But here we go. Mr. Moron. A lot of inquiries into, what was going on there. So the PTA, all these people were notified and, they were inquiring to me and I was giving them information where to go, how to do it, what they can see, what they don't see. Do I have a copy of the video? Yes, I do. I'll send you a copy. Check out this link. Go to mvgordy.com, so on, so forth. Correct. And the school board is not this Tuesday, but I believe it's next Tuesday. So we're going to see if people are willing to rise up and say enough is enough, at least for our children. I love the way developers and all these people who want jobs, they love to use the children as hostages and say, oh, it's for our kids. I would never condemn my children to work in a warehouse, ever. Never, 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 never. I would never do that. But so Mr. Moron, he's acting like nothing's happening or whatever. They can't do anything. But I went to the school board and I met with the school board president, which is Cleveland Johnson. And, Mr. Johnson basically told me, well, he's elected. It's really up to the people to do that. I said, I don't care about the people. That's not the question here. The question is, this reflects on the school board if you let it, by you not making a statement, by you not taking any action to protect yourself, and let Mr. Moron sit on his own. This guy has homophobic, racial, feminist slurs that he uses on Twitter. He is using forcible, simulated rape in a video, and he is street racing. Is this the kind of image we want our school board to be projected of its members? I mean, I remember the outrage when Victoria Baca was arrested at a checkpoint. Now, back to Mr. Moron's LinkedIn. If you go to his LinkedIn, this guy can't be no more than 36 years old, okay? Going through a divorce or his separation or whatever, and I don't care about that. All I say is to his wife, you made the right decision. Get the hell out of there, because this guy has some kind of mental condition. And I'm going to stand by what I just said. Because if you look at his military record, this guy didn't even finish A school. Now, for those of us that are have been in the military, your A school is your technical school. So once you finish boot camp, you go on to your job. So you go to your job and whatever it is. This guy didn't even finish that. Now, anybody in the military knows your basic security clearance is a secret clearance. You don't even do that until you've completed your A school. That isn't even issued to you. It's not even researched until you finish, because there's no guarantee you're going to finish. So why would the government waste time giving you a clearance and it takes a couple of months? Like I said, you just got an A school. You still got to learn your job, so on, so on, so forth. So it's going to take a little while before you even get a secret clearance. So this moron, if you go on his LinkedIn, and I'm going to post it up on the website later on so you guys can take a look at it. At 36 years old, this guy is the most accomplished intelligence officer I have seen since James Bond. It's incredible. He's done it all. A DeVry University student. And everybody knows DeVry isn't a real college. It's a trade school. It's not a real college. He's got counterintelligence and this. And I mean, wait till you guys see it. This guy is a sociopathic liar. Totally. Everything about him is fake. And he's sitting on our school board. But I want you to decide. Don't just take my word for it. You guys decide that and you figure it out. But I'm going to tell you this. As somebody who's been in the military, who's passed his A school several times in different fields, there is no way at 36 years old, this guy is so good at intelligence. Why would the military let him go, or the CIA? He's James Bond. Shaken, not stirred, sweetheart. Shaken, not stirred. I mean, this guy's better than Sean Connery. If you looked at his LinkedIn, he's done it all. 36 years old, 38, whatever year he is, he's done it all. But yet is an employee of Highland Fairview, funnels money through Highland Fairview. It's just ridiculous. For somebody who's supposedly in intelligence, he videotapes himself doing crimes, forcible sexual rape, and racial, epithet and slurs via Twitter. Yep, America's finest. That's what it is. America's finest. Mr. Evan Moron. And we're not finished with Mr. Moron because, again, we are vetting a lot of stuff with him, and there are investigative people looking into his background, and I'm glad about that. And speaking of investigative, A couple of months ago, last summer, I believe in June, I told everybody about an FPPC violation that would have led into money laundering if a certain case went to trial. Now, if you remember, that case was about Committee M, which is a Victoria Baca committee that had a ex-friend of hers as the treasurer. And basically what Victoria Baca did was she had left the treasurer holding the bag. So, I was brought into it. I was asked to take a look at, what was going on and so on and so forth. And I was telling everybody this is going to trial. This is real. And Victoria Baca was like, oh, there's nothing there. Mr. Sadiq doesn't know what he's talking about. Oh, it's nothing. Don't even worry about it. It was such a nothing that Jesse Molina, who was the mayor, I believe at the time, was subpoenaed. Chris Baca was subpoenaed. Julia Cleveland Stewart was subpoenaed. I was subpoenaed. And let me see who else that was involved. A whole host of people that were subpoenaed, but the case didn't exist. The case didn't exist, but all these people were subpoenaed to testify. And when we went into arbitration, and I remember, Chris took me to the side and he asked me, what was going on and stuff, and why was I there? And I told him specifically. And like I said, this has brought water under the bridge. Me and Chris, we're not buddies or nothing, but again, I now understand a lot of, there's certain things we get along with and there's certain things we don't get along with, just like me and Roy Bleckert. Like I said, I still consider him a friend. I don't, me and Chris, we're cordial. Chris Baca, we're cordial. I have nothing, against him. He's a Democratic committee member, and he wants to do what's good, and he's making a lot of active contrition, and I'm glad about that because he finally, smells the coffee of what's going on. And I wish he would come on the show and tell us what he knows, or at least go to the DA and tell us what he knows, because he knows how this operation runs. So, but me and Chris at the courthouse, we sat and talked, and I made it abundantly clear that if the case was not dropped against the treasurer, and I don't want to use her name, but you can go look at the documents, it's public record, that they were going to find out why I was there. And it wasn't going to be pretty. And guess what? The next day, or the next week, or whenever when we came back, because it was continued because they wanted to see what they wanted to do and if I was bluffing or not, the case was dropped. And the treasurer was so thankful and things like that. And, and it's about doing what's right. I don't mind helping anybody if it's for the right reasons. And there's no reason why this woman was set up the way she was. And if you looked at the case, it was total bullshit. Straight down the road, a typical Victoria Baca setup. And for those of us that know, we already know what Victoria Baca does is she preys on certain Hispanics, mostly from Mexico, who live in the Edgemont area, who might have come to this country illegally, and they can't go to the police and they can't go to certain things. So they go to her, and she knows that, and she takes advantage of these people. And that's what she does. And that's what she's going to continue to do. So, and I was putting all these documents up and I was doing all these videos. You guys remember that? I was doing all the videos. You can go on YouTube and look up News from the Edgemont and you will see the videos. The videos are still there. I mean, they're all archived there. So you can go and check it out. Where I'm telling you, I'm down at the courthouse, but what was Victoria Baca's response? Oh, no, there's nothing there. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Blah, 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 blah. She was so worried that chick was on Xanax or something because, it seemed like she was just zoned out. She just didn't want to be seen because this was some serious stuff. I mean, Jesse Molina, all these people were pulled in and they were pissed. Okay. So now here we are. 2017, Sunday, February 19th. And I'm going to say this as I said it before. We have credible documents that we are going to file this week in regards to Victoria Baca. And I told you guys during the election, you better be careful of who you elect, because a recall or a recall could happen, or this person might have to resign based on certain factors. And I've always said it's just a matter of time before she screws up. And if you guys know me, and as I've been saying, I am a terrible poker player because I don't bluff. I just don't. So this week we are going to be filing some documents, and we're going to put those documents up later on after we file the paperwork or whatever this situation is, or we're going to be filing them, and investigative sources are going to get back with us and stuff like that. So it's going to be some time, but as soon as we are allowed to let you guys know what's going on, we're going to put those documents up and let you know. But we have credible documents that, once again, shows Victoria Baca with her hand in the cookie jar. And by the way, it's been almost 9 months, and I still have yet to meet with Idiot Gutierrez. 9 months. And by the way, my good buddy, Jesse Molina, who vowed that he would be at the city council to make sure that this developer keeps his promise, is nowhere to be found, has not been at city council. A disgraced bank robber, LaDonna Jimson, she has not been at city council. What have I been telling you people? These people do not have your interests at stake. If you cared about this city like I do, like Roy Bleckert does, like Chris Baca does, like a lot of people, it doesn't just stop after you lose the election. You got to keep going. And like I said, I'll give respect to all those that need that are to be respected. You stand your ground, be it right or wrong. I can respect it. I might be on the opposite side of it, but I can respect it. It doesn't just stop. Mr. Pete, if you like what he says, if you don't like what he says, he's consistent. Roy, consistent. If you like what he says, if you don't like what he says, he is at the council and involved in what is going on. And I've been telling people, if you listen to the Hot Seat Radio show on Wednesday and Pastor Don show, we need your help. We can't keep relying on the same people to do the fighting, because we have lives too. When are you guys going to take the initiative and help us? I know you're in the matrix, and I know you're driving, and you got to do with your family, and you got to deal with these kids, and then you got the dogs, and you got the cats, and you got the boss, and all that other stuff like that. But this is about your city where you live. I'm going to lay it out for you guys right now. And I'm not the first one to say this. Here's the plan. Highland Fairview has a majority on the city council, and Idiot Gutierrez is trying to gather more power where he can only appoint, which is bullshit. So Highland Fairview has the majority on the council. Highland Fairview is moving his employees onto the school board and the planning commission. My good friend, Rafael Berguedes. I don't know what his background is in planning, but he's applied. Why do you think he's doing that, everybody? Why do you think Highland Fairview is having these employees move from district to where they need to move, rent an apartment, whatever, and then they run for the office, whatever, so that could be legal or whatever. And why do you think he's doing this? Because it's just like Chris Baca has already said. It is to get approval for an infrastructure bond. And if there's any conflicting areas, especially with the school board, it won't be overridden, because he's going to have that majority, or try to get that majority on that school board and on the planning commission, so that there's no hiccups moving forward. That's what's happening, everybody. He's taking over the city completely. Unless somebody has information to help us bust open this corruption case. You got to help us. We can't do it by ourselves. And speaking of things that we got to also talk about, where's the outrage of the animal shelter director just using a generic marketing ploy to give a 5-year projection that wasn't even true, and it didn't even cover 5 years? There's no outrage of that. We need people to step up for these voiceless animals. I mean, I'm doing the best that I can. I mean, I've got 3 of them. You know, I would love to get them all, but I can't. Belle the Wonder Pup is here, Misty the Mama Cat is here, and Felipe the Latin Lover Cat. I mean, I'm doing the best that I can, but I haven't forgotten about them. But if you have any questions in regards to animals and things like that, I mean, you got look for people like Christy McPhee, Laura Medeiros. There's all kinds of people out there. There's all kinds of groups in regards to what's going on in an animal shelter. We're still killing these animals at a very, very high clip. And I don't know what it's going to take and what is the motivation that they're doing that, but it needs to come to a stop. I don't think Victoria Baca is going to do anything about it. Damn sure bank robber LaDonna Jimson didn't do a damn thing about it, but give it lip service. Because if I had won the seat and hadn't been stolen from me, I would have definitely put a stop to the killing in the animal shelter. Everybody says, well, what do you do when the animal shelter's full? We just can't take in any more animals. We would have to go ahead and give them to the other cities to help us. Simple answer. There it is for you. So anyway, please don't forget about the animal shelter. And if you're looking for an animal, please go there first. I mean, come on. I mean, you got some really great animals. I was at the Petco, and that's a great place to go to get animals too. $85. They wanted this one cat. It was a tuxedo cat, just like my Mama Misty cat. And they wanted $80, you know, and I was like, it was a beautiful cat though. But I'm not saying, you know, the Humane Society and all these groups that, you know, that are private rescues aren't, you know, great things to do. They are great. But I can get a cat for $5 on Friday at the animal shelter with surgery and everything. I got Felipe for $5. They did the surgery and the shots and, you know, well, not the shots, but I had to go to the vet with the certificate and stuff like that for $5. So economically, 80 versus 5, what would you do? So I'm just kind of putting a plug to go to that animal shelter first. Please go to that animal shelter first. And if you can, donate to these nonprofit groups to help support them taking care of the animals. Because, you know, when I was there, I donated like, you know, $25 to keep the animals fed and whatever they needed, you know, financially. If you can do that, please do whatever you can. That's all I'm asking you to do. So we got that. So again, Victoria Baca is in the hot seat, and I've reached out to her and her people. She refuses to meet with me or anything of that nature because she knows that I've got the goods on her. And if she thinks I'm bluffing this time, she better look at my record. She better look at my track record. We got a lot of stuff going on. For those of you guys, real quick, that are interested in some really great cozy blankets, there's a young lady named Asha Hobson, 951-323-5837. Hobson, Hobson Asha, ASHA, life, one word, Hobson.ashalife@gmail.com. She makes these great blankets. She makes these veteran blankets that which is a little bit more expensive, but only by $5 or something like that. The proceeds go to help the homeless vets, and she's got that. I've ordered like 4 or 5 blankets from her myself. They make great gifts, especially for my military buddies that are on the Space Safe flights. You know, when it gets really cold, or even if you're just flying in, you know, regular Southwest, going someplace, it's nice to have a nice little blanket and a throw. And these aren't the small throws that you're, you know, where you're kind of used to. This is really worth the money. I mean, it's really the throw that she makes, if you went to Target or Walmart, you're looking at least over $100. And she makes them in any theme you want. You can get them embroidered or not embroidered, but they're great gifts. So please look her up. And if you need some information, contact me here and let me know what's happening. Also, U.S. vets, those people that were asking about the show, that were saying, are you a homeless vet or at-risk veteran? Supportive services for veteran families may be able to assist you. And U.S. Vets is 951-999-91 or you can go to the website, www.usvetsinc.org/Inland Empire. Okay. And a lot of people called in and they were like, well, what's the eligibility requirement? Well, number one, the veteran discharge status must not be dishonorable. Okay. As long as it isn't dishonorable, you're eligible. Okay. A veteran or a family member in which the head of household or the spouse is a veteran. So that's some of the criteria. Very low or extremely low income household income may not exceed 50% of the area median income, and capable of sustaining housing after short-term assistance ends. So that's some of the eligibility criteria. There might be a little bit more, but that's just the basics. Some of the services are case management, assistance with VA and other benefits. So if you need help filing for VA benefits, they will help you do that. Personal financial planning, housing counseling. So they can help you, look at some homes down the road, I guess, or places you might want to go. Temporary financial assistance, legal services, child care services, if you need child care services, and transportation and more. So please look into that, and you can give them a call, again, at 951-999-9115. And that's US Vets, and they're making a really awesome campus right there at the March Air Reserve Base side of the, not the base side, but the other side of the area that Victoria Baca and Highland Fairview sued, and they lost that, whatever, March Care Life area. It's going to be great. I saw the plans. It's really great. Also, you can contact Pastor Don, and he can give you information in regards to that. The executive director there is Eddie Estrada. His number is 951-999-9120. And they have an office in Colton, California. And that's where the office is. Google it up and check it out. I mean, it's really great. So if you know somebody, or if you know a veteran that might be in need of assistance, please, please, please pass that information on. Now, we talked about how these politicians have, come and gone and all this other stuff like that. But it's always the questionable ones. We talked on the show about the NAACP, and I'm a supporter of I used to be a supporter of the NAACP. A lot of my family members are supporters of the NAACP and members of it. And unfortunately, they have some questionable ties and questionable ties to certain candidates. And my understanding is Denise Fleming is going to be getting a political courage award, I think it's called. I'm not sure, from the NAACP. Now, I want you to ask yourself, the NAACP also gave, no, I better not say that. But it was a courage award, a political courage award for Denise Fleming. Let's see. Denise Fleming lost the election. Says nothing about the warehouses and the problems in the city she lives in, does nothing for Moreno Valley, much less the Inland Empire. She's right now going around trying to get elected to something. She left the school board because she was smelling herself, and she thought, there's nothing else I can do here. So, So they're going to give her an award. The NAACP, who backed Hillary Clinton, they backed all these losing candidates. And people were asking me, well, why do you do that? Do you guys understand how the NAACP works? The NAACP works like Al Sharpton and Reverend Jesse Jackson. They make threats and they do this, and politicians go to them and pay them off. Mm-hmm. As long as they get a check, they're going to back anybody that, they tell them to back. Not credible candidates, not, candidates that are going to be good stewards. We have election coming up. Right now, candidate that I look at is Jaime Moreno. Very good candidate. Is the NAACP going to give him any backing, any financial backing? He's a credible candidate. He seems very honest. He's out in the community doing stuff. Can you give him an award? I can understand you don't want to give me an award, even though I've been out here fighting. I got, over $200,000, almost $300,000 worth of street repairs in my neighborhood done as a non-candidate. I worked with bank robber Jimson to, fix the sidewalks and, and crosswalks and all kinds of stuff. Do I get a political award? No, they won't give it to the people who really make a difference. They won't do that. They give it to their cronies and their friends. That's what they do. Please tell me one thing that Denise Fleming has done of a monetary status for her community. Matter of fact, Denise Fleming lives only about 2 or 3 blocks away from me, here in Edgemont. They call it Towngate. My area is called Edgemont, but if you Google it, the whole area is called Edgemont, but they renamed it and they call it Towngate. You can put a lipstick on a pig, but it's still a pig. Back in the day when I was a kid here, this whole area was Edgemont. But oh no, they live in Towngate. 1 block away from my house across the street, you'll see Towngate and then you'll see Edgemont. Don't figure. But that's how we think. Been in this city for 40 years. 40 years as a resident. Haven't been here, but as a resident. I've been a legal resident here 40 years. Never changed my residency. This loudmouth comes from Chicago, and the NAACP is going to give her an award for losing an election. Hey, I lost the election too, even though more people voted than were registered, but that's okay. Because really, I would do a great job as a council person, but however, we need new blood. I don't consider myself new blood. I'll be 47 this year. I'm not new blood. But I think I serve my community better as a watchdog person that I am right now. So, they're going to give her an award. And I believe the rumor is she's going to try to run for mayor in 2 years. So she's out there licking boots and getting her funds, however she needs to get it from the same group of people. Cheryl Brown, her good friend Cheryl Brown, and all this other stuff like that. All these pastors that she says that were endorsing her. Then she says, oh, no, they weren't endorsing her. But then you look at the pictures and they were, or, vice versa or whatever. It just didn't make sense. It looked like they were. Yeah, that Denise Fleming. The one that was like, oh, Mr. Edo Benvizi, I can't wait to get on my knees and just work with you. What was that about? Yeah, that Denise Fleming. The one from Chicago! Dr. Denise Fleming! Call me Dr. Denise Fleming! I have a title! Yeah, that Denise Fleming. The one that wears super tight dresses that don't do anything for her figure or, the way it looks. Yeah, that Denise Fleming. You can go on my picture book and you can see the picture of her in the red dress where her belly is looking really, it doesn't look very, very professional, in my opinion. Yeah, that Denise Fleming. But, I'm just a voice in the wilderness, and I'm just somebody out here, trying to wake everybody up. And I know it's Sunday and tomorrow's a holiday and we want to get these things out. I wish I can go and file that paperwork tomorrow. It would be more advantageous to my schedule, but I'll have to wait till Tuesday. Where's LaDonna Jimson? I've been in the neighborhood for 30 years, community volunteering, and I will fight for you, and Where are you at? The only person I see still fighting is myself. And speaking of myself, since, I'm too old to run in the next election, and I don't have a desire to run in the next election, Jerry DeMarcado is an Edgar Garcia. These are 2 names I want you to remember. Edgar Garcia and Jerry Mercado. It's going to be a very hard toss-up between the future of what is going to go on, because I don't believe Victoria Baca is going to be around very, very much longer. Yeah, that's what I believe. She might serve the whole 4 years, but I could be wrong, but I doubt it. So Jerry Mercado, who's been on the Heritage Board, he's been involved. Edgar Garcia, young guy, up and coming. I mean, these guys have the names. They have everything correct. They've got my support. They ran in the last election. And, we've talked. And I'm telling you, it's going to be a hard toss-up between these 2 guys. They're both very, very interested in what's going on and being progressive with the city of Moreno Valley and, solving the Box Springs water problem. And Roberto Perez, I believe, is working on the board at the Box Springs water problem. And as an investigation is moving in closer on him and Mr. Marks, that is going to be something that is going to be interesting. So you guys stay tuned. When you want local tea and the political intrigue, please tune into the hot seat and tune into this show, the Donovan Sadiq Show. For some reason, I am always in the mix. And not that I like it, but I'm one of the very few people that has the time to do it. It's very interesting. I love this city. I love what it stands for, or what it used to stand for. But, when you have a bunch of people that move out here, corrupted people, and we're talking about the bad people from LA. We're not talking about the regular people from LA. We're talking about the bad people. They move out here with their LA ideas, and this is what we get. Warehouses are so great. Where's the revenue for the city? Where's our civic center? We get people who simulate forcible rape on our school boards. We get pimps and panderers on our school board. Where's the outrage, people? We get former bank robbers on our city council. We get former criminals on our city council. Victoria Baca. Former bank robbers. People say, well, who's the former bank robber? LaDonna Jimson. We get an idiot for a mayor. I mean, a real life goofy. Look at the Disneyland character and look at Yixtin Gutierrez. Idiot Gutierrez. Same person. Duh. They sound exactly the same. The guy's an idiot. It's going to be very, very hard for Dave Marquez, who's sitting there by himself. People could throw rocks at Dave Marquez all they can, but unfortunately, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And Dave's a fellow veteran, a fellow Air Force veteran as well, but he's not in my district, so I can care less how he handles his district. I'm dealing with a representative in District 1 who works for District 3 and a developer. And we know that the city of Palm Springs had that corruption investigation. Just now, files have been charged. It's just a matter of time. Like I said, it's one thing after another, everybody. And I just want everybody to realize it's not going to get any better until you have had enough. When have you had enough, Moreno Valley? I've had enough. I was never a political person until I came back home and I saw what was going on here. But we can't keep relying on the same people to do the fighting. We need your help. Get involved. If you know something, get involved. If you know something about the corruption, get involved. If you don't want to get involved, contact me. I'll take it from there. But please, we need your support. We need to get better candidates. We deserve so much better. We've had enough warehouses. You're looking at almost an $800,000 infrastructure bond that you were going to pay for. Highland Fairview doesn't want to pay its legal bills. Where's the outrage? This is how business is done. I know a lot of people say the answer is to, pick up and move to a better neighborhood. But with all the corruption in the Inland Empire and the Coachella Valley, it's just a matter of time before that city too deals with the developer and the corruption. We've got to stop big money in politics, just like the Peden brothers talked about. It's too much money. We need to limit it. How is Highland Fairview and Ido Benvizi, a person who isn't even a resident of the city, controlling the city? All our department heads don't even live in the city outside of the chief. The chief of the fire department. We got to wake up, Moreno Valley. Well, I've had my 3 cents, and I'm just going to tell you, I'm not going to shut up until my eyes are permanently closed, because at one time, this was such a great great city to live in. B-52s, we had a racetrack. Sunnymead Boulevard was just developing. All these businesses were coming there. Now what do we got? Diesel trucks that can park anywhere because we have no foresight and we have no planning. It's just sad. But this city could be great again if we elect the right people that are progressive. Business people are not necessarily a good mix for government, as you see that what's going on in Donald Trump. Some of our worst presidents had a business background and mindset. Everybody just be safe. We've got 3 more days of this wet weather. Our snow caps look great. If you're going up to the mountains, be safe. Take some chains. And I'm going to keep you involved. Like I said, we're going to be filing paperwork against Victoria Baca this week. And I am not bluffing. You guys are going to find out what it's about when the story breaks. Also, Evan Moron, go to the school board next week. Please be there. We need to get that moron off the school board. I'm Donovan Sadiq. Thank you for listening to the Donovan Sadiq Show. We'll see you guys again whenever I got something on my mind or a story to break. Check out the Facebook page and some of the videos. It's going to be a great thing. We'll talk to you guys a little bit later. To my high school crush, Raina, I love you, baby. I love you. Every time I used to see you walk, it was just like, wow. It was like something out of an 80s movie. I used to just look at it like, wow. But to all my Okie people and all my Okie friends, and don't forget we're having the Malloy family reunion July 2nd in New Roads, Louisiana. See you guys there. Donovan Sadiq.